Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Rajoshi Ghosh from Indian Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the 30th episode of ICC Biz Live, our interactive session with C-suite people. Today, we have another high-profile speaker before us, Mr. Raghav Kanoria. He is partner Anchor Group, founder Calcutta Angels Network, and founder of Neoleap Accelerator. And now I would hand over the mic to him, Mr. Kanoria. Do give a brief introduction about yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Rajeshi. Good evening, and delighted to be part of your show. Like you said, I wear multiple hats. I have worn the hat of an angel investor, accelerator, and now also partner in Anchor Group, based out of Switzerland. So, just to give a little bit of background of Anchor Group started 7 years ago with a focus on investing in early stage tech companies in the industrial segment. Industrial segment basically means five sectors that we are looking at: energy, automation, logistics, mobility, and now increasingly circular economy. And these are the sectors that we feel are areas of the future, and high tech technologies are part of these sectors like IoT, robotics, etc. We also do consulting. So we look at these technology companies coming to India with partners who are interested in innovation for distribution or manufacturing linked to Make in India. Thirdly, we also look at corporates from India who are looking for innovation, and they are our clients, and they have particular requirements for their corporate business, and we help them to get those startups. So basically, this is what Anchor Group does.
About your role in the as an in accelerator.
So in Accelerator, we have this accelerator called Neoleap. Neoleap started 9 years ago. We help in mentorship of startups from East India mostly. They are looking for mentorship across seed level funding and also how to conceptualize their idea. They're looking for one-on-one mentorship. So there we have been providing those aspects to the startups, and we accelerated close to 13 startups now. And now we are looking to again kickstart this acceleration program and take some more startups in the near future.
That's really great. I hope startups are hearing this program or and they and do connect to you in future. Now, my question to you first is, what makes an entrepreneur? What is the mindset of an entrepreneur which has who sets a startup, who starts a startup to be? I mean, many are looking for steady government jobs, safety, security, but they are not that. They are different. What what makes them different?
Yeah, so I have seen startups across the country, basically not only from East India but also North, West, South. I've gone to a lot of conferences and attended startup competitions, been part of the jury. I've also been abroad to a lot of conferences where there are a lot of tech startups. So I think the key differentiator that differentiates a startup entrepreneur from a person who is looking to do a corporate job is the mindset. So, you must have two things in mind when you want to be a startup entrepreneur. A is that you must have a vision for the long term. So, a lot of people I've met in the last 13 years, especially since I started Calcutta Angels, is having a short term mindset. So, of course, there are lucky few who maybe out of thousands, there may be 10 such startups who maybe in 2, 3, 5 years really make it big, and then they exit the startup. So, but there are thousands of others who don't make it big in that span of time, and a lot of entrepreneurs then give up. So, the idea is to keep it sustainable for the long term, have a long term mindset. That's one. Second aspect is to have the culture of risk taking. So, if you don't have the ability to take risk at every step of the life cycle of your startup journey, then you will not be able to scale your startup. So, for example, when we started Calcutta Angels, we did a lot of things it was a startup, right? We did not have funds. We had co-founders, but at every step, every year, we took risk to grow the network in a bigger way. So I think these are the two key things that a startup entrepreneur should have.
Very fine, sir. But we need money also. I mean, also we will come to that point also. But apart from the mind, also, even if I have the entrepreneur's mind, if I don't have any money or by inheritance or anyhow, can I really start a startup?
So yeah, you have frugal innovation, for example. In India, it's very famous Jugaad and frugal innovation. You can start your company with little capital now because you have a lot of technology tools that are available. For example, I know somebody who started a company just based on 1 lakh rupees because he's using AI as a tool to create his website. He's using AI for customer lead generation, and he's using various other tools. So it was very different 15 years back, and now it is very different because you have a lot of technology that can help you and guide you to start up. You have a lot of incubators that can incubate. For example, in Kolkata itself, in the last 10 years, I've seen so many incubators come up from the government side and the private side. And there is seed level funding also available. So you can get seed level funding of 5 lakh, 10 lakh and do your startup.
Okay, that is really a learning point for me.
Yes.
So, what are the drivers or the key success factors behind a startup at conceptualization stage?
So again, it comes back to the people. The first thing is the people behind the startup. So if you have, I got a lot of startups that came to us and said that, okay, we want to do this. It's a very lucrative market. But when we asked that, do you all have experience in this sector? They said, no, we just find it a very lucrative sector and we just want to get into it. So that was a red flag. So basically, if you have 2 or 3 people who are starting the company, at least one should have domain expertise in that particular domain. Secondly, you must have complementary skills. So suppose somebody knows finance very well, the other 2 people or one person should know marketing, the third person should know capital raising. Then you have a complementary skill set in the team. So that's the first. The second point is that you must have a long term mindset. So you must have a long term mindset to, yeah, sorry about that. I just got a bit of a cold. So you must have a long-term mindset to, take the startup to the next level. Thirdly, you must have finances, like you said. So you must have enough finances to take the startup forward.
Yeah, a very important key factors you're giving, not only domain knowledge, marketing skills, however good a technical product I may create, I just can't carry it on my shoulders and sell. The marketing skills, capital raising skills. Yeah, very, and apart from the risk taking ability and mental strength, that is what basically you are talking about. Very good learning points, sir. Now,
Yes, that's
coming to the point that as per data, as per media, we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. When did this happen? And by what are the parameters? Unicorns, number of startups, DPI, registrations. How do we derive this conclusion?
yeah. So I think there are 4 or 5 parameters. One parameter is the number of startups itself. So at the last count, there were 1.6 lakh startups registered in India. I just have some data around that. There was 17 lakh employment that has been created. 73,000 startups had woman director, and we have 100 plus unicorns. So given this entire sort of data set, we have a lot of startups in India, and I think that's why we are called the third largest startup nation.
Okay, now coming to what you do, how do you mentor a startup, and does mentoring change with a scale up from seed funding to seed capital to scale up capital, and as mentoring change as the company grows in size? How, I mean, do describe for the benefit of startups and to be startups.
Yeah, so I think once you become a Series A or Series B startup, you have much more systems and processes that are in your startup. So when we mentor startups from the very early stage to the, let's say, Series B or Series C, what we look at is stable systems and processes. So a lot of the times the startup has scaled, but the systems and processes are of very old systems, so that doesn't work. Secondly, you must have feedback loops. So every time we look at a startup that is on a series B where we have invested, we create feedback loops so that we are in the know-how of what is happening in the startup. Thirdly, we look at corporate governance. So any startup that has scaled must have good corporate governance, must have board of directors to help it through. And then we also look at cultural issues. So how the startups are scaling in culturally and have they got the integrity. So we help them get integrity. And lastly, we help them with business development and contacts.
Is your area operation restricted to Calcutta only, or all over India?
No, earlier it was only Kolkata, but with Anchor Group, we are pretty much all over India and Europe also. And with Neoleap also, it is all over India. So it's not necessarily only Kolkata.
Okay. Now, what does an early stage investor look for at a startup to invest? The IRR projected in the report, or whether if and I had heard one incubator say to a startup, you first be alone for 6 months and come to me. 6 months or 1 year, you perform alone, and then come to me for hand holding. And somebody had said that I'm ready to handhold you, but provided your cash inflow is higher than cash outflow. If you're burning cash, I'm sorry, I will not take you. So
No, so
yeah.
the issue here is, Rajeshi, that a lot of startups only come for funding without being ready for it. So, a lot of startups came to us and said, we are going to we want 3 crores, 4 crores, and this is the valuation, and we're going to burn so much money, but we don't know how to use the money. So, a lot of entrepreneurs come at a very early stage and they say, okay, uh, this is our valuation, but they are not even aware of the use of funds or how they are going to roll out that money. So, especially when we come to funding, at that time you must know how to use the money. But if you come at seed stage, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter because at that time you just have an idea. So there are two different aspects. One is at seed stage, and one at later stage.
Okay. Now coming to the success rate of startups. Apparently, in India has a 20% success rate and USA has 40%. What makes US startups succeed more? I mean, do they have systems, supportive systems? And what makes us 80% of us fail or 20% succeed? Or is the data wrong? What are the success rates in India and US?
So I think one of the major factors for US success is their education system. So if you look at the education system of US, it is meant for entrepreneurship, and their failure is not a taboo. So here in India, what happens is that we say, okay, if you don't succeed, you have failed in life. But there, what they say is, no, if you have failed, you can try again. So that is one of the main things. Second is they have very deep capital markets which understand valuation of startups. So today, if you look at the big tech companies in the US, which are in California, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, etc., a lot of them, the earnings do not match the valuations. So here in India, what we say is that You must have X earnings, only then you can get listed on the stock market, and then only the investors actually give you valuation. And the government has some sort of norm where they say, okay, if you are more than 50 PE, you are very overvalued, and there is huge risk to the investors. So capital market in US understands how to value startups. That is the third thing. Second thing. Third thing is ease of starting up. So US has very good systems for ease of starting up. Here, India is still lagging behind with because of regulatory issues. Then the government gives a lot of grants, early stage grants, which are useful at the starting stage, especially for product companies. And then the mentorship ecosystem exists throughout the country. So in a very wide area in the country, there are a lot of mentors who help US startups at the very early stage. So these are the 4 5 factors I feel why the US startups are more successful.
What about the China story? China startups are probably second or fourth largest.
China, it's a lot of big companies that have come out of China, but it's a little bit opaque. So the data coming out of China, we don't know what the reality is. I would say that after US, second most successful would be Israel, because Israel has created this whole ecosystem for startups. China also has a lot of big startups, but they are more internally focused. Like you will not see a lot of Chinese startups operating in India or other countries because they have a very
Right.
big domestic consumption. So I would say after US, Israel, and now third is India.
Okay, sir. Would you share a bit about valuation models?
So in the early stage startups, when you're coming in seed stage, it is more about what is the stake that the investor is willing to take, and what is the stake that the startup is willing to dilute. So there are, because you don't have historical financials, you cannot say this is my PE multiple or this is my comparable company that has been launched, because you might not have an idea which is reflecting the same as your idea. Your idea might be so unique that you don't have any comparable model. So at this early stage, basically, it is what the startup is willing to raise. Suppose you are raising 1 crore and you want to dilute 20%. Basically, the investor has to agree that, okay, I want 20% stake for 1 crore. So it's a very give and take sort of situation. When you go to the next level, let's say pre-series A or series A, when you have some financials and projections, then it moves to P multiple and comparable multiple in a similar startup.
Okay. Now, recently, for the last 1 month, 1 month or maybe a little bit more, we are seeing a mad rush in IPOs. So, I mean, this is going to, and many startups are getting listed, and early investors are exiting, and with high returns. I mean, your comments on this IPO rush for startups?
Yeah, so basically, if you see the companies that are coming to IPO, they have already scaled to a level where they can raise money from the public. I mean, if you look at Meesho or Lenskart or Grow, these companies have been around for a while. Meesho, of course, is a shorter time, but Lenskart, Grow, these companies have been there for a while. They have already achieved the
Right.
scale. They have very good institutional backers who can sort of help them take the company to IPO, because they also want to exit. So companies like Sequoia or SoftBank, who invested 10 years ago, and now they have to return monies back to their investors. So then it's a good exit mechanism for the startups. And now you will see many more startups coming to the capital markets.
Okay. Mm, Before I come to the next question, I would like to, possibly know, we come out with a quarterly issue called Startuppreneur. Uh, uh, I mean, would it be possible for you post this interview? We would be grateful if you can give us an article on mentoring and investment on today's topic.
Sure, sure. Of course.
Now, I mean, next question is what can be done to make Indian startups succeed more? How do you succeed with your startups?
So I think we do three, four things. So a startup does not only need finance. This is what I say in a lot of conferences, that a startup needs mentorship initially, because you might be young, you might have some ideas, good ideas, but if you don't know the challenges that are going to take you forward, or the challenges that will you will have in the road ahead, you might not be able to scale. So I think the first thing is mentorship, incubation, followed by capital raising. Then you need a good set of people on your board, maybe one or two people from the investor community, or those who have helped incubated you or mentored you or invested in you, to have it on your board who can help you take the right decisions on a quarterly basis in the right manner. And then they can help you at various stages of the funding life cycle. And then people also who can help you in opening doors for business development. So we also have business development arm in Anchor Group, where we can help you, take you to various markets in Southeast Asia, in Middle East, and also Europe. There we can help you with partnerships for distribution, etc. So all the various aspects that a startup needs should be covered. Then only the startup will be able to scale properly.
Okay, okay. Again, the factor of marketing coming back, not only the conceptualization, but mm, product development, but also the marketing angle is coming up. Now, next question is who are the main funders of Indian startups? Now, there are two angles to this question. One is city wise question is among startup revolution started from Hyderabad and continue extended to Bangalore. And what about Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kolkata, Mumbai? Among India, I mean, which are the states more funding in startups? And regarding venture capitalists, are the main funders Indian venture capitalists or foreign venture capitalists?
No, so if you look at the main cities where the funding is happening, it is happening mostly in Delhi, that is Gurgaon, Bangalore, and Mumbai. These are the three main cities. Then there is Chennai and Hyderabad, and Kolkata, of course, is recently come up. So when you talk, and then smaller towns like tier two, tier three towns, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, they have also got now a lot of startups. So now India is getting broad based. Like if you look at the first 10 years of the India startup story, let's say from 2005 to 2015, it was basically in three, four cities. Next 10 years, we have gone to another four, five cities. And now, next 5 to 10 years, we'll take it across the country. When you talk about the main funders, earlier it was basically family offices or HNIs or corporates who were funding it. But last 10 years, there are a lot of homegrown early stage funds in India like K Capital, Orias, Chirate, etc., who are funding early stage startups also. Sequoia Capital has got a early stage separate wing for early stage funders. That's why a lot of venture capital funds have now started a seed program which will also incubate and mentor startups. So startups could go to them also for the same. And then there are the large institutional American venture capital funds which are there in the country, like Tiger, Axel, etc. And of course, you have a lot more corporates and family offices who are now looking at funding startups.
Okay, quite an mm, good learning points for me, as I hope for the audience too. Now, I request you to describe the entire life cycle of a startup from conceptualization to exit.
Yeah, so first of all, you should have a good idea. A lot of times people come to us with an idea which is already existing. So you should have a relatively unique idea when you come to funders or incubators. Secondly, the idea must have a large enough market. So if you come and say my market is only small, then it won't work. You must have a large enough market. That's at the ideation stage. Then you move to the pre-seed seed level. That is the second stage. Third stage is then scale up, and then fourth scale is maturity, and then fifth scale is of course exit. So these are the five stages for a life cycle of a startup.
If I wish from beginning, can I be on the safe side and begin with trading and positive cash flow before I go on to development of a new idea or service? What is your view?
Yeah, trading. Sorry, trading is basically not a startup in that sense. It's more like a. It's not a technology startup in the sense of the conversation that we're having. But of course, you can start with a trading business. That is also it's a new business, but it might not be typical to what venture capital investors or early stage investors look at.
No, I'm saying I start as a. This is just a somebody shared this wild thought with me in that I start as a trader. I gain cash flow, and then I took the risk of being an entrepreneur and a product development. Uh,
Yeah, so that is possible. I mean, you can always start as a trader and move to the technology side.
So, coming from various points from your conversation, what is coming out, technology is really helping startups to deliver at a lower cost, is helping to lower the cost of production nowadays.
Yeah, it brings efficiency. Basically, any technology company will bring efficiency into a business model. So, for example, if you look at robotics, so we work with a company in Singapore called BotSync. So they basically have industrial robots which ease movement of heavy goods from point A to point B. So earlier, a manual person, a human being was doing it manually. You know, things like 1 ton, 2 ton, you needed five people to push that object. Now a robot, you put it on the robot, it automatically moves through a software program from point A to point B, and you have four labor who were not being required for this job are now being required taken somewhere else, and this whole process become much more efficient. So, things like robotics, things like Internet of Things, if you want to track a device, how it is moving from point A to point B, you just put the sensor on that device,
Yeah.
on that good, it will track the movement of that good. So, you don't have to have a person or two people over there to track it. So, these are the kind of technologies which will make it much more efficient, at least in the industrial sector that we are seeing.
Now I will talk about my personal. I did my thesis, and one of my research paper, my research studies showed that MSMEs in India are averse to automation. Automation and AI. Then uh, that means they are blocking efficiency also.
No, MSME, see, if it increases the efficiency, then MSME will not be averse to uh, technologies, right? I'm not talking about AI in particular, but if you talk about MSC, they are scared of AI taking away their jobs. Then that could be one aspect where MSME is scared. So MSME have to be made aware that AI will not take away their jobs or their business or their market. Then they will not be averse to technology.
Yeah, but
I think the time MSME feels scared. Yeah.
who will give them the knowledge that technology is actually help, will be actually help, will help increase your success rate, will help you lower your cost? Who will, people like you, or some government, is government also doing the same, or incubators and accelerators like you, or Hotel Innovation
Yeah,
Center,
mostly you should be part of some incubator accelerator to understand the regulation. Because where a lot of startups go wrong is they don't understand the regulation and application of high-end
okay.
technologies unless you are from really those IITs and IIM. So a lot of the institutes where the students coming from next level institutes, they don't understand the full spectrum. So you should be part of one of these organizations.
Okay, okay. Other basically, you're asking that the people, they should get proper training. Now, the next question is, how can the corporate world help startups?
So corporate world, I went to Tel Aviv 7 8 years back, and I saw an excellent thing over there. Basically, what I saw is that large corporations like Cisco, Intel, Apple, etc., they have got entire buildings for innovation and R&D, and they are sponsoring. So similarly, in India, where you have large companies, IT companies, for example, who have a lot of funds, they can sponsor various centers of excellence that can breed innovation. So let's say one company, or even in the auto sector, let's say Mahindra wants some particular technologies for the auto sector. They can sponsor a center of excellence or a building. They can do business plan competition, and those startups can then apply to those competition only for the auto sector. And Mahindra can say, okay, we will fund the top three startups that come out of the business plan competition. So corporates like that in Israel are creating a very robust ecosystem where startups can be part of these centers of excellence. That is one idea. Second is corporates have a lot of solutions that they require. So Reliance started this in Mumbai. A lot of other corporates have started where they have 10 particular problem. I think Tata Steel is also doing it. And then the startup can try and solve those problems. They have a hackathon. So startups can solve those problems. So corporates can do this also. And thirdly, corporates can, of course, be part of funding rounds of the startup journey.
Okay. Can you you in can you give a one or two live examples of people whom you handhold and made grow from beginning to a larger scale?
Yeah, so like I said, BotSync is one that industrial robotics company. We held them from the beginning, and now they are part of an incubator in Singapore, actually. Uh, and they have now raised capital to the tune of $15 million, and next year they will raise $25 million, and possibly we will get an exit in the next 1 or 2 years. Then in Neoleap, we have this company called T Raja. T Raja basically does blending of teas, and then they sell. So they source tea from the tea gardens, blend it, and then they sell it. So that company is also doing quite well.
What can we I don't know, before I ask the next question, now I open the floor to the audience and the viewers to post their questions. You're free to ask, because it is not every day we will have Mr. Kanoria with us. Now oh, any question, Madam Shalini Singh? Oh, so apparently people are enjoying our discussion. So what are the what can we learn from successful global ecosystems for startups?
What can we learn from the successful global ecosystem of startups? Yeah, so basically, what I said, when I went to Israel, uh, and I've also seen this few friends of mine in California. Basically, the university, which is Stanford University, works very closely with the government and with the business community to create a interlinked system of investment, incubation, grants, and then funding. So, these are the this is what we can learn from a government and a funding perspective. The startups can learn how to be part of, and then they have a lot of events. So startups should attend a lot of events. For example, in Calcutta, we have NASCOM, we have various sort of industry body chambers of commerce like ICC, CII, who have a lot of events. So we should attend, startups should attend a lot of these events to get access to people from the investment community, incubation community, and from the government. And then from the Israeli ecosystem, what we can learn is team building. So Israel, I don't know if many people are aware that first after school you have to join the army. Of course, we don't have such a system, but what happens is that they become very close to each other when they are in the army. They are very good engineers and they learn product development. So I think in India we are lacking on product development. We need to form these small teams based on them attending various businessman competitions, hackathons, etc., so that they can build products. So I think this is what we can learn from the two most successful ecosystems, that is California and Israel.
For you to take a startup under your wing, I mean, is DPIIT registration mandatory?
It's not mandatory, but it is helpful. It shows credibility, but it's not. In the past, we have not done that. It is mandatory.
Okay. No, I one month ago, one magazine approached me. It is a sort of spiritual magazine. Uh, has some popularity circulation, but and is on a break-even stage, not profit, and wanted to scale up and get guided, but this though desperately tried to connect to an incubator, it did not get appointment for one month. I mean, these sort of practical problems do happen, sir.
I mean, it depends. If it is a government sponsored incubator, then it's a separate issue. Like you have these large government sponsored incubators of 5,000, 10,000 square feet. They have a lot of strict rules and regulations. But if you are going to a private accelerator, you don't have these rules and regulations.
So, what is coming to me is, correct me if I'm wrong, is there is a knowledge gap. The even the entrepreneurial spirit is there. Knowledge gap, guidance gap is there, which makes people fail. If they are connected to the right people, then they will not fail. Am I right?
Yeah, so every time I speak on a panel or anywhere, whether it is Chamber of Commerce or institutes or private bodies, I always say that startups and all the community, investment community, mentorship community has to attend events, because only then will your knowledge gap be filled to a certain extent. Otherwise, what happens is people are working in silos from their houses, but they don't know what is happening in reality. So these kind of events organized by Indian Chamber is very good for filling in the knowledge gap.
Do you recommend any books in this sphere? Because if I log into Amazon.in and start, there are multiple books come in, but and I don't know what is relevant and what is not.
No books on the sense that I have read personally books by Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. Elon Musk is from the entrepreneurship community. Peter Thiel is from PayPal. If you know the initial PayPal mafia, he was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
founder. And then, so I don't recommend any particular book, but these two authors are very good in the startup community.
No, no. Somebody has come with a serious question, sir. Another person, two people.
Yeah, so second question is about hand holding from the initial stage. The first question actually disappeared. So,
First
okay,
question
I
to
got it.
Cracks. Got it.
I got it. Now
Craxygen.
we are working in a software product filed since 8 years, looking for expansion. We have proven idea with customers. So first of all, 8 years is a pretty long time. Uh, in India, initially the startups more than 10 years is not qualified as startup actually. So you should definitely, if you have customers that are working on this software product for 8 years, you should definitely approach, early stage VC funds or angel networks for funding. Second is proof of concept while like a small scale production data. Yeah, so you could approach us in Neoleap for acceleration. So we can handhold you from this stage as to how to, uh, apply to various places. But first, we have to understand your business model. Rajeshi, you can help with my email. Yeah.
Uh, Shomodip, can you type sir's email ID? It's for others to note down. Another person question.
I think this is the
Oh,
same
this
one.
is same question, same question, same question. No. Shomodip, can you type sir's email ID for in the below? It is kanoriar@hotmail.com. Any more questions, sir? Not you. I mean, to the audience. Any more questions, or then we wind up at 5:45 usually. Shomadip, please put sir's email ID in the banner below.
I think Shalini has a question. Can we have a common platform for all the ecosystem stakeholders of West Bengal? Rajeshi, I don't know if from the chamber you can work on this with the government to have a common platform.
Okay. Yeah, Indian Chamber. Shomodi has replied. We'll share it in the comment section after after the show recorded show is uploaded. Okay, fine. That's fine. A common platform for all the ecosystem stakeholders. Another question.
Yeah, so Rajeshi, just saw Shalini's question is, can we have a common platform for all the ecosystem stakeholders of West Bengal? I think this has to be a government and Chamber of Commerce could take a lead role in this.
Yeah, and not one. All chambers of commerce. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, you can have
Another
education institutes, private incubators, accelerators, Chamber of Commerce, etc.
another question on healthcare.
Do you know any VCs or angel investors in healthcare? Yeah, so I know I have access to angel investors for healthcare. You can touch base with me on my email.
Any more questions? Okay, sir. Then we will end this session today with a formal request for an article from you on this topic, which we will publish in our startup journal. Oh,
Okay.
the Shalini Singh is from IIT Kharagpur.
Yes.
Mm. There are many academic bodies in Calcutta who have set up startup incubation cells, but they are not so active. IIT Kharagpur is really active. That's why she's watching this program and raising so many questions. Anyhow, sir, we will end now, and we will give you a contact email, and also we will publish your article also, so that
Okay.
the interaction continues beyond this program. Okay,
Sure.
sir. Bye
Thank you.
for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.